Hi everyone! Down here, it's me, Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw! And today, I wanted to do a bit of a unit overview. I was asked by someone if I could do a top 3 units for each synergy, and I want to kind of do something like that. There's a long conversation to be had about so many different units in this game, and there are many different uses for all of them. I wanted to talk more specifically about each unit and whether or not they were going to be your superstar unit, if that makes sense. There are a few units in the game that are your carries, your most important units, your units that do all the damage and need to survive. You're going to stack most of your items, if not all of your best ones, on that unit. You're often going to look for that unit to be 3-starred. So I'm going to go through each of the synergies and kind of give you a few pointers on what units you can keep 2-star and what units you're going to look for 3-star and what units are not so good to care about really at all. I hope this helps. Let's do it. Let's start with the Cave Clan synergy here. So Cave Clan is a few units. We've got our Red Axe Chief, who is a 1-cost unit. You find him very early. Skull Hunter, a 2-cost. Swordman, a 2-cost. Lava Shaman, a 2-cost. And finally, your legendary unit, Storm Shaman. So as always, your legendary units, if you can get a 2-star or 3-star legendary unit, which are your 5-cost late game units, great. I won't go into much about them. You're almost never going to get them 3-star. It happens from time to time with specific builds, but in general, if you get them 2-star, great. They're killer units. But let's talk about some of the more basic units you can find. Red Axe Chief, the first one you find, he is your tank. So this unit does not need to turn into a 3-star unit. It is not going to be your superstar late game unit out of the Cave Clan synergy. And in fact, as we keep going through and talking, you're not going to only pick one unit necessarily from your synergy that's going to be your superstar. For instance, with a 6-beast synergy, most builds will use a demon like a Witcher, a Fallen Witcher, to be their carry unit. Or you could use a Doom Arbiter to be your carry unit. So it's not even necessarily going to be this specific synergy, but I will talk about who in this synergy can stay 2-star and who in this synergy might be someone you could chase for 3-star. Red Axe Chief, 2-star is totally fine. It's a tank, so you don't need to search for this to be one of your 3-star units. It would be good, it's always good to have a 3-star unit, don't get me wrong, but you're only going to have enough time and money to get so many of them, so it might as well be your best unit. The Skull Hunter, really good unit early on especially. This is another one where I don't think it needs to be your 3-star, and again, let me just reiterate, there are tons of different builds out there. There are lots of different ways to put together a team. But in general, I think these are good rules of thumb. So like anything, every single one of these can change. In general, this is about right. Your Cave Clan unit, Skull Hunter, does not need to be your 3-star unit. It is not your star unit from the Cave Clan. Your Swordman, on the other hand, I think is your star unit in the Cave Clan synergy. Specifically, you can use them with a few different kinds of builds. You could really beef them up using a divine build. There are a lot of different ways to go for it, but just talking about these Cave Clan units specifically, Swordman could be a 3-star unit. His ability, Blade Fury, where he does that thing and spins around. Hey, you're seeing him do it right there. Blade Fury is really, really strong. Putting an item on him that lets him do a lot of ability damage is huge. And getting him up to 3-stars, he could be a pretty formidable unit. Your Lava Shaman also does not need to be a 3-star unit. I think there is a build or two where you push this Lava Shaman to a 3-star. You could say that about a lot of builds, but for the most part, this is fine being a 2-star unit. It's not going to be one of your big carry units. And then again, the final unit in Cave Clan is Storm Shaman. It's a legendary unit. You probably won't get it to 3-stars even if you try, so I wouldn't worry about it. But hey, if you can get it 2-stars, awesome. Let's move on to Beast. The first Beast unit here is Tusk Champion. Beast, so you know about the Beast synergy, you get multiple beasts and they increase attack damage for everyone. 6 beast is a really popular build in the meta right now. Tusk Champion, he is one of your tanky units. Early on, he's a 1-cost unit. This unit can probably stay 2 stars. You don't really need to find a 3-star beast. I'll go through the units real quick. Unicorn, another 1-star beast unit. Then you skip, not a single beast is a 2-cost unit. Then you skip over to 3 costs. We have Werewolf, Lord of Sand, and Poisonous Worm, all in the 3-cost tier. And then you finally have Razor Claw in the 4-cost tier. So those are your 6 beasts. 6 beast gives you a ton of attack damage. If you're using 6 beast, you probably won't choose one of these beasts to be your heavy damage dealer, but let's talk about starring up these units. Again, Tusk, it's a tanky unit. You find him early. You don't need a 3-star Tusk. Felt like I was going to say more, but then I thought, I don't know, I kind of got it across, didn't I? Unicorn. Unicorn is a druid unit, which means they level up easier. Having multiple druids together lets you level up the druids easier. 2 druids lets you put 2 druids together for a 2-star unit rather than needing 3. And then having all 4 druids on your team lets you put together druids so that you can get 3-star units even easier. You don't need a 3-star unicorn. However, you will probably get one as you're playing. So yeah, you're gonna have a 3-star unicorn if you're going beast. It's pretty easy to find. Werewolf. Werewolf is a beast warrior. It's a cool unit, but I rarely see putting Werewolf as your #1 damage dealer and making them your 3-cost unit. It just isn't that beneficial. You'll probably keep this 2-cost. Lord of Sand. I could see you moving this to 3-cost in an assassin build with beast, but there are also other 3-star assassins that I would rather have. You'll probably keep this 2-star. In fact, you'll keep all of your beasts 2-star probably, because another unit that you put in your overall team is going to be the star of that team. But Lord of Sand's pretty cool. Poisonous Worm, you're probably not going to get a 3-star Poisonous Worm. However, a 3-star Poisonous Worm is really, really fun, especially if you have the ability for them to summon a lot using items or a divine synergy. That being said, there's so many units that would be better off 3-starring. I would keep this at 2-star. And the reason I say 2-star instead of 1-star, almost every unit you will be able to get to 2-star. It is not hard to find enough units to get them to 2-star. Maybe your legendaries you won't. But you'll find three copies of this unit so you can get it to 2-star. What I'm saying is, after that, I don't think you need to keep searching for any of these beasts. And finally, Razor Claw. Razor Claw is another druid, so you will star this up to 3 stars. The cool thing about druids are that they gain levels rather fast. So if you find a few of them early and you're able to star them up, you get an early advantage. But they do drop off late game. So you can't really expect any of these beasts to be your superstar unit as you're trying to win. Let's talk about Glacier Clan. Glacier Clan has these units. Defector is a 1-cost. Frost Knight, another 1-cost. Desperate Doctor, a 2-cost. Got a 3-cost over here, Fortune Teller. A 4-cost, the Berserker. And the 5-cost legendary Sacred Lancer. So Glacier gives you that awesome synergy where your attack speed goes through the roof. Glacier synergizes well with a lot of builds. Let's talk about who on this roster would be a possible good 3-star unit. Defector, your 1-cost, it's a shaman unit. You do not need to get a 3-star Defector. It will not help you. It's really not that useful. It just helps you with the synergy. It has 2 good synergies. It has Glacial and it has Shaman that can build into a pretty cool late game synergy. But in general, no. Do not 3-star this unit. Keep it at 2 stars. Same with Frost Knight. Frost Knight's great because it's Glacial and it's Knight, so it helps with a Glacial Knight build. This is one of those units where you absolutely want to have it for that build, but you don't need a 3-star version of it. They just don't get powerful enough, and they're outclassed by other units that you would rather see 3-starred. Desperate Doctor, I love Desperate Doctor. I love that it has a Warlock synergy. Desperate Doctor is great. It is a really fun unit to 3-star because its ability gets stronger and stronger, but it's outshined by other people that you would probably be looking for in the builds you have it in. Still a great unit. All of these, again, you can 2-star really any unit. Fortune Teller. Fortune Teller is probably the least useful glacial for most builds. You can very specifically use it for a lost streak with priests, and if you would like 6 glacial without the use of wizards, you will need Fortune Teller. Fortune Teller, I feel like, doesn't make it into most builds at all. It's just not that useful. One of its synergies is not very good, Priest. It only helps you when you're losing, so you have to be very strategic when you want that synergy around. Other than that, I would pretty much have any other glacial unit other than Fortune Teller on your team. There are specific reasons for every unit, don't get me wrong. He's not awful, but in general, yeah, I would never 3-star this unit. Berserker. Berserker is a hard carry unit. So this unit could be your superstar. When I say superstar, what I really mean is carry. But there are some units that you wouldn't consider a carry that is sort of your superstar unit, and they just do a ton of damage and are awesome. Glacier is one of those units. Excuse me. Whoa. Berserker is one of those units. Berserker is, they're throwing that axe over and over again, and the more they throw at one specific target, the faster and faster they get. So this unit can take down some of the toughest units in the game. A really good unit. You would love to get a 3-star version of this, and you would probably stack a ton of items on this unit. The only reason you might not make this your superstar unit or your carry unit is because of this unit, Sacred Lancer, the legendary glacial unit. If you could get a 2-star Sacred Lancer, awesome. Even a 1-star Sacred Lancer inside of a lot of builds can be absolutely devastating. So I could see putting all of your eggs in the Sacred Lancer basket instead of Berserker if you happen to find them both. They also both happen to be warriors, so you can easily combo to just get a 3 warrior with that. They both happen to be glacial, so if you're building 9 warrior, these are 2 amazing units to have in that combination. That's glacial. Glacier. Exorcist. Exorcist? I never say this right. Exorcist. Let's look at all the units. Exorcist Ranger. I never know how to say this either. Winter Chiropteran? Whatever. Umbra. This little dragon here. Evil Knight. Ghost Kid. And Soul Reaper. So this build, this synergy is the synergy that gives you armor reduction in your enemy. I don't really make a lot of these, Cave Clan, Beast, Glacial, Exorcist. I wouldn't say any particular one is the entire basis of a build. There's way more to it, but I'll talk through each one of these units real quick here. Exorcist Ranger, pretty good. You can put him with some hunter combinations with certain items. This is a fun unit to move to 3-star. It's also 1 cost, so it's not too hard to do. But it's not the absolute best unit on your squad. Still pretty good, and I could see getting it 3-star. Every once in a while in my hunter builds, it does become 3-star just because they're so cheap. Winter Chiropteran, I don't know how to say that. I'm sure I'm so far off. No, you never need this unit to be 3-star, ever. It's great for a few builds. It helps mages, it helps dragons, it helps exorcists, but in general, you never need this to be a 3-star unit. It's just not one of your big carry units. Umbra. Umbra is a unit that I wish I liked more. I don't really like Umbra that much, even though it's Dragon, Exorcist, and Hunter. It can really help a few builds come together and make a couple synergies. I love things with multiple synergies attached to them, but I don't find that Umbra is better than some of the other units that would be part of this build. For instance, Umbra is a Hunter and Umbra is a Dragon. I would rather have Dragon Knight be my carry, and I would rather have many Hunters be my carry other than Umbra. So I don't think you need a 3-star version of this. Evil Knight. Fun unit. I love its shield. It's great in some Knight builds. It's not the best, and you don't need a 3-star version of it because it is a super tanky unit. In a knight build, you'd be looking for a Dragon Knight, or you'd be looking for probably Avenge Knight to be your 3-star unit. You can keep this 2-star. Ghost Kid. Ghost Kid kind of sucks, I think. I don't think it's a very good unit. I don't use it too often. Again, take this all with the little grain of salt, being that all of these can be good in different moments. I don't find it that useful in very many builds. So no, I would never 3-star a Ghost Kid. Soul Reaper, I love Soul Reaper. It's one of my favorite units in the game. Doesn't mean it's one of the best, it's just one of my favorites. Soul Reaper and Pirate Captain are two of my boys. I love my boys. I don't think you need to 3-star this unit in most every build. Not that it wouldn't be helpful, it would be helpful, but a lot of the time, the amount that this unit heals is getting chunked down in such a massive way by huge magic attacks that it might not be the reason you're winning a 3-star Soul Reaper, as opposed to whatever 3-star carry unit you would need. One of my favorite units, but again, I think you can keep it 2-star. In fact, every single one of these Egressists doesn't need to be a 3-star unit, in my opinion. For most builds, I don't think you need a 3-star version. Marine. Marine is a synergy that you often use just to get its synergy rather than because the units are so good. They're fun units, but for the most part, you're using Marine units so you can get that magic resistance. We'll talk through them. They have 4 units. We'll talk through it. They have 4 units. Abyssal Guard, the warrior. Abyssal Crawler, the assassin. Siren, which is a hunter. And Tsunami Stalker, which is another hunter. So, Abyssal Guard, you probably won't need this 3-star in any build. Not a terrible unit, just you don't need it for most builds. It's a good warrior, and it gives you the Marine synergy, but it's not going to be your star unit. Abyssal Crawler, in most assassin builds, I would 3-star Abyssal Crawler. There are a couple assassins that you might want to 3-star, but Abyssal Crawler is definitely one of them. A hard carry unit. The more it attacks an enemy, the faster it gets, even as the match goes on, actually. Not just like Berserker. I said that wrong. It continues to steal attack speed throughout the match. So by the end, it's so much faster than it was in the beginning. There are a few key items to put on this unit, but great unit. Probably a carry in a build that you're using it in. I would look for a 3-star Abyssal Crawler. 3-star Siren, pretty hard to find because it's a 4-cost epic unit, and I don't think it benefits it that much being a 3-star. Again, all of these should be 2-stars if you can, but I don't think you need to try your hardest to find a Siren. It's just not that hard of a carry. And then Tsunami Stalker, it's a legendary unit. If you can have a level 2 legendary unit, great. Level 3 is really hard to do, but if you could, of course it's killer. Yeah, that's Marine. Human, we've got Source. Source is a mage, and it's used to give mana to your allies. Fun unit, 1 cost. Your 3-cost units are Argali Knight, Werewolf, Flame Wizard, Avenge Knight, and then your 4-cost units are Tortola Elder, Dragon Knight, and Pirate Captain. So many good units are inside of Humans. This synergy Humans is used to get a higher level than level 10. Level 10 is the level cap in this game, but if you use the Human synergy and you win rounds with a Human surviving, you get books of experience, and you can use those after you've already made it to your max level. Level 10, you can also use them before, but you can use them after you've got to your max level. You can continue to level up to level 12. So you'll see a lot of high level play use these for a little bit so they can get that level and then pull the ones they don't need. Source gives mana to your team. If you have a mage build, I love having a 3-star Source. It's another one of those 1-cost units that isn't too hard to find. I don't make it always a priority, but it's pretty darn good. When you need everyone to cast their spells and use their abilities, Source is there to do that. Really useful unit, and I could see it being 3-star. Argali Knight. Argali Knight's really good, and there are some builds that do have Argali Knight as the star unit, and it's a 3-star unit. For the most part, there are other knights that are probably going to, there are other humans that are probably going to be better, and specifically, It is a knight, so it is with a lot of knight builds. There is one or at least two knights in particular that will probably be your star units if you can get them there. Werewolf, again, from the beast build. Decent unit, but I wouldn't ever 3-star it. I'd probably keep it 2-star. Flame Wizard, there are builds where your Flame Wizard becomes a 3-star unit. It's pretty strong, but there are other mages, since it is a mage, there are other mages that I think you can focus on instead of Flame Wizard. However, a 3-star Flame Wizard is pretty good. Just really, really late game, you'd probably want the Tortilla Elder, if you could, to be your 3-star unit. Avenge Knight. Avenge Knight is one of the most popular carries in the game right now. It works for Glacial Knight, Human Knight. It's extremely powerful as a carry because every round it survives, it gets more and more powerful. You put a ton of great items on it to make it just an absolute beast. Having a 3-star Avenge Knight, if it is your superstar unit, which it absolutely could be, is a really good call. It's definitely one of the units that you want to be looking for a 3-star version of. Tortilla Elder is hard to find a 3-star version of it because it's a 4-cost unit, but you absolutely can, and it's really, really strong. Really, really strong. It can do a lot of its job at 2-star as well, but a 3-star Tortilla Elder, yeah, it's a beast. Dragon Knight is another great unit. Inside of a dragon build, this will probably be your carry unit. I mean, you could put Avenge Knight in there and kind of do like Dragon Knight or something like that. Dragon Knight. But Dragon Knight, the unit, could be your carry. Getting a 3-star version of this could be really amazing. Pirate Captain. Pirate Captain is one of my best friends in the world. I love Pirate Captain. I don't think you need a 3-star Pirate Captain. While it's fun, Pirate Captain's whole use is that big ship that comes in and crashes into the enemy team and stuns them and does a lot of magic damage. There are enough ways to make sure that Pirate Captain doesn't decimate your team, so it's often not your carry unit. I love it, but it probably will stay 2-star. Dragons. Let's talk dragons. We already talked about the winter, whatever his name is. We talked about another 3-cost unit, Umbra. We can talk a little bit about Venom. Venom is an assassin unit, and assassins, as far as assassins go and dragons go, Venom is not my favorite, although I do see a lot of people use Venom to I was going to say startling startling efficiency. Boy, I don't think I got through that well at all. I think Venom's pretty good, but not my favorite. If I'm using a dragon build, it might be there to help activate the dragon synergy. However, again, with dragons, I want Dragon Knight to be my carry. That's the 3-star unit I'm looking for. And then, personally, I don't like Frostblaze Dragon. I just feel like it's so easy for his ability to not be that useful. However, he's a dragon and a mage, and he's a legendary unit. It'd be great to have a 2-star version. But when it comes to dragons, Dragon Knight is your superstar. Dwarfs is really easy. There's only 2 dwarfs. So dwarfs are the Dwarf Sniper, great unit, and the Helicopter. Fun unit, but there are lots that kind of outclass it in that legendary tier. Dwarf Sniper, for a hunter build, it absolutely could be your carry unit. It's great because it gets to attack the lowest HP enemies on the enemy team, picking them all off, which I really, really like. Getting its attack speed up, getting its ability damage up. Dwarf Sniper's great. You could also use it with that silence mask and not have it use its ability and just do tons of fast attacks. Great unit. Could definitely be a carry unit for your hunter build. And then there is Helicopter. Again, it's a legendary tier, so it's hard to get a 3-star version of it. It's a good unit. It does good area damage. I personally like Devastator more, and it has a similar feel because it's, you know, they're both mech. This one happens to be Dwarf, which is cool when you get a two Dwarf synergy, and it lets all of your ranged units attack the weakest unit with a huge range increase. However, I mean, it's legendary. You probably won't be 2-starring this unit. You probably won't be 3-starring this unit, but you could 2-star it. Let's talk about goblins. My favorite units are goblins. Okay, we've got Skybreaker, 1 cost. Soulbreaker, 1 cost. Heaven Bomber, 1 cost. Ripper, 2 cost. And then we don't have a single 3 cost. We have 1 4 cost, which is Venomancer, 1 5 cost, which is Devastator, and actually, sorry, 2 5 cost, which is Cannon Granny. So, as far as 3-star units are concerned, Skybreaker oftentimes doesn't need, in fact, no, Skybreaker does not need to be a 3-star unit. You find goblins so early, you might find a lot of these, but it would be better to have Soulbreakers 3-star. It's just a stronger carry unit. Or Heaven Bomber as 3-star, a really good unit for a ton of magic damage. You could definitely have this be one of your 3-star units. Ripper, you don't need as a 3-star. It's one of your tanks. I would keep this unit 2-star. Venomancer is a really brutal carry unit. You will probably have Venomancer as a 3-star unit, if possible, in a build where it is your carry. If you can get it, it's a great unit to have 3-star. Devastator is one of my favorite units in the game. Its ability, when it drops that powder keg, it does so much damage to everyone around it. It's hard to not do a ton of damage to a lot of people. It's hard for anyone really to avoid it. I love Devastator. Really hard to get it into a 3-star, but if you could, oh man, it's brutal. I think I have a video up on the channel where I get a 3-star one. Cannon Granny. I don't love Cannon Granny. I always drop Cannon Granny personally for Devastator, but and that's just so you can, you know, when we're talking about a 6 goblin synergy, if I'm not using wizards, which is another way to get it without Cannon Granny. I don't love Cannon Granny, but it is a legendary unit. If you can get a strong one, great. I think your carry for goblins is probably going to be Venomancer, Heaven Bomber, and then once you get your Devastator, you can get some magic items on that as well. Sometimes I switch from Heaven Bomber being sort of all my magic damage to Devastator once I get it. Goblins are just so good. Oh my goodness. Demons, there's not a single 1-cost demon. They start at 2. We've got Soul Devourer, as well as Hell Knight. A 3-cost demon, Fallen Witcher. 4-cost, Doom Arbiter, and Grim Touch. And then 5-cost being the Phantom Queen, who just got added back, and the Rogue Guard. So, demons are really good, but you often only have 1 demon on the board, sometimes 2. For an all-demon build, you know, like demon multiple witchers, which you would need Taboo Witcher for, you could have everyone out there, but for the most part, you're going to pick a demon that you add into another build, and that demon is going to be sort of your superstar demon unit. For instance, in a 6-beast build, a Fallen Witcher or Doom Arbiter could be a huge carry for you. They're actually the one that you put all the effort into. Let's talk about some of these demons. Soul Devourer is a wizard, so you'll see Soul Devourer in a lot of builds, so you can help build the synergy with it. I like it. It's an early 2-cost unit. It also drains mana from your enemies, so you can get a good unit to not be able to cast because of it. Nice unit. You will probably never 3-star it. You don't need to. Hell Knight. I like Hell Knight as an early brutal damage unit. You find it super early, and because of its demon pure damage, it can help you win a few early rounds. Has a good synergy with knights. It's a knight, so you see it in some glacial knight builds. I like it, but it probably doesn't need to be your 3-star unit. Fallen Witcher is a super hard carry unit, and if you have a build with Fallen Witcher in it, it's probably because Fallen Witcher is your carry or your superstar. So you're going to stack a lot of items on Fallen Witcher, and you're going to look for a 3-star Fallen Witcher if you can get one. The same can be said about Doom. If you can get a 3-star Doom, great, but even a 2-star is just a massive beast. Such an incredible unit. So I could see a lot of builds where this is one of your strong carry units, at least maybe until you transition to something else. But Doom's great. Doom is great in a lot of builds. Grim Touch, another wizard, so it's good for some synergies, but you know, it's 4 costs, so I kind of like the other wizard a little bit better. You don't ever need this to be a 3-star unit. 2-star is just fine for it. It's a good unit, and it does some good damage, but it's not a superstar unit. The other 2 are legendary. Phantom Queen for assassins, Rogue Guard for warriors. Both good units. If you can get them started up, great. but I don't think I need to tell you that a startup legendary unit would be good. Let's go on over to Feathered. There's a lot of Feathered people. Yeah! Feathered gives you that evasive synergy. We've got Taboo Witcher as a 1 cost, Whisper Seer as a 2 cost, Lightblade Knight and Shining Archer also 2 cost. We've got a few 3 costs. We've got Warpwood Sage, Shadowcrawler, Wind Ranger, Shining Assassin is your 4 cost. You've got a Strange Egg, which kind of counts, but yeah. And then you've got the Scryer. So there are so many good feathered units, and a few of them could be good carries. Let's talk about it. I don't think you need a 3-star Taboo Witcher. 2-star works totally fine. You could have one. It's not bad. But again, you only have so much time when you're playing. So you can only pick a few units to be 3-star, and I don't think Taboo Witcher's the one. Whisper Seer, I'll talk about Whisper Seer and Warpwood Sage almost in the same breath. Whisper Seer and Warpwood Sage, both druids, both feathered. Warpwood Sage, one of the best units in the game. Whisper Seer is fine. However, they are both druids, so when you are using multiple druids, you will often have them 3-starred. I don't really need to say much else about it, because if you're using druids and you are not 3-starring all of them, I don't know why you're using them. Yes, they should be 3-star units. Warpwood Sage being one of the best units in the game right now. Lightblade Knight. Lightblade Knight is overshadowed by other knights, and it isn't the best carry possible, but it is a carry unit, and you can build a really strong 3-star Lightblade Knight and just have it start murdering everybody. There are other knights that are a little bit better, but there is a reality where this could be a 3-star unit for you. Shining Archer, really good archer, could be a 3-star, I say archer but it's hunter, could be a 3-star hunter. Probably not who I would choose, but definitely possible for one of your 3-star hunter units. I've done it before, and it's a really, really strong unit, so it could be one of your 3-star carry units. Talked about Warpwood Sage. Shadowcrawler. Between Abyssal Crawler and Shadowcrawler, those are your 2 assassins, for the most part, that you're going to look for to 3-star. I like them both. I personally like Abyssal Crawler more, but Shadowcrawler is an amazing 3-star assassin unit. There's specific items you'd want to put on them, you know, the frenetic mask and stuff like that. But yes, you could look for this unit to be one of your best units. Wind Ranger, another good unit. I could see it being a 3-star unit, a little harder to find than Shining Archer. I kind of like Shining Archer better personally, but they're very, very close. Wind Ranger could be a really good carry for your hunters. Shining Assassin, I love Shining Assassin. I think there are 2 other assassins that should be 3-starred instead, which is Abyssal Crawler and Shadowcrawler again. But a Shining Assassin's a great unit. Strange Egg, you always want to take a Strange Egg if you can get it. Every single time you always want to get it. It lets you star up units easier without having to find a combination. It's really just a combining piece. It is not a unit in and of itself, even though you can deploy it if you need to. Yeah, you'd never deploy it. So it's just used for combining. And yeah, always buy it and don't worry about ever putting it on the battlefield. The Scryer is an amazing unit. Again, this is a legendary tier unit, but the Scryer is amazing. If you can get a Scryer and then you can get a 2-star Scryer, a lot of builds really, really benefit from Scryer. I don't need to talk much about this next one, Kira. Kira only has 2 units. Venomancer, which will probably 3-star, and Ogre Mage, which you aren't going to use for a lot of builds. Until you know you definitely want Kira out there, or you need it to complete a type of synergy where you can't have too many humans, maybe like a divine synergy, and you need it as a placeholder, it's pretty good. Otherwise, it's not a unit you're going to see a ton of. If you are using it, you'll have a 2-star version, but Venomancer is your carry inside the Kiras. Ooh, Spirit. Spirit's synergy isn't really a winning synergy, but they have so many good units. Stone Spirit's the worst one. He's a warrior. He's not great. He's not terrible. You definitely don't need a 3-star version of him. Water Spirit. There are some builds where Water Spirit could be your 3-star or superstar unit. Really fun unit. Really fun with divine builds. I like Water Spirit a lot. Good with assassins. There are other assassins I'd probably 3-star, but there's a world where this could be a 3-star unit for you. Thunder Spirit is interesting because Thunder Spirit as a 1-star and 2-star unit is probably one of the best mages in the game, but then I feel like pushing it to 3-star doesn't seem as useful as searching for Tortilla Elder or something like that. So you'll probably keep this at 2-star, however, it's a beast of a unit. So, Dark Spirit. Dark Spirit is so good. I love Dark Spirit. It's when you're fighting an opponent who has a ton of super tanky units that aren't just zipping around the battlefield like some knights or some warriors, Dark Spirit will change the entire game. I love Dark Spirit. You're probably not going to get a 3-star version, but Dark Spirit's great. Divinity. Divinity units. We've got God of War for 1 cost, Goddess of Light for 2 cost. We've got Grand Herald for 3 costs, and of course, Zeus, our legendary unit. Divinity's the most commonly used and probably best synergy in the game. I mean, best, there are a lot of different ways to play, but it's one of the best things you can build in the game. So, God of War doesn't need to be a 3-star unit, but absolutely could. It's a frontline warrior that just tanks up a ton of damage. Goddess of Light never needs to be a 3-star unit. 2 stars totally fine with Goddess of Light. Grand Herald, also another unit you never need to 3-star it. And the reason I say this again, not because it wouldn't be somewhat beneficial, there are just other units you should focus on, for sure. And God of Thunder, if you could get a 3-star, more power to you. 2-star is awesome. Divinity is used more for its synergy, though, than how good the units inside of it are. Insectoid. The Insectoid synergy has a few units in them. They're all high cost. Lord of Sand, 3 cost. Poisonous Worm, 3 cost. Thorn Predator, 4 cost. And Spider Queen, 4 cost. I have a video on my channel about how to use Insectoid synergy. It's a really fun synergy and can be really sneaky. I feel like I say sneaky too much, but I do feel like it's sneaky because your opponent goes, oh man, they have Insectoid. That's why they have so many duplicates of that. It will spawn units when a duplicate unit on the battlefield is dead. Again, watch the video if you're confused about what to make of that. All of these aren't really the unit that gets 3-starred inside of that build. It's the other units that could possibly do it. And in fact, in that build, you often have everything 2-star because that's how you make your dupes. But in general, pretty good units. Lord of Sand, Poisonous Worm, I like better than both Thorn Predator and Spider Queen. Spider Queen's an okay hunter. Thorn Predator's an okay assassin. I think Lord of Sand is a better assassin. I think there are many hunters that are better hunters. So I don't think you need to 3-star really any of these units for most any build. Always exceptions, but I think that's about right. Pandas. Let's talk about pandas. Pandas, you don't really have a choice, sort of. The only way to get the 2 rare pandas is to have the first panda find them. And then having more pandas on the board uses that synergy to find more units. So a 3-star Heaven Brew is not the most helpful unit. A 2-star is totally fine, but you might get it just because it keeps finding you pandas. A 3-star Ember Blade is so freaking good. It's one of the best units in the game, but it's kind of lucky as to whether or not you get it. So I would love to have a 3-star Ember Blade. It is an incredible carry. Absolutely get a 3-star Ember Blade if you can get it. But again, you don't have much control over it. You have to hope that you're getting somewhat lucky with your pandas. And then Thunder Trace is good, but I don't think a necessary 3-star unit. That being said, if you're just getting a bunch of them and it becomes 3-star, cool. There's no real way to control it, but if there was any way to, you would say you would want Ember Blade to be a 3-star unit. But that's going through, I think, essentially every unit in the game because we went through every race. I hope that helps. I let you know which units are most likely to be 3-stars by going through each race. I can also go through classes at some point and talk about which units inside there would be the best. But I gave you a good idea of who is a useful unit to 3-star and who is part of a good build possibly, but should stay a 2-star unit. So there you go. I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments if I could explain something in more detail or if there's something that doesn't make a lot of sense to you, and hopefully I can help you out. Thanks for watching or listening. I'll see you next time. Mwah!